So here we have our ingredients. We've got coconut milk, a tin of chopped tomatoes, some diced white onion, our garlic and ginger puree, our cumin powder, our curry powder, our Kashmiri chili powder, our garam masala, cashew nuts, and some coriander. And this is going to be used for the masala dipping sauce, and this is very easy. It is simply throwing it all in a pan and cooking it through before blitzing it in a blender and then passing it through a sieve. So first thing we're going to do, we're obviously going to cook our onions off in some melted butter. Now ideally you would want to cook these down. I was a little rushed for time, so I threw my ginger and garlic puree in a little bit too soon, but it was all good. I cooked that down thoroughly before then adding the tin of chopped tomatoes to the pan and cooking that through before adding the coconut milk and the herbs and spices and the coriander. I didn't bother chopping the coriander, as once this was cooked through I was going to send this through a blender before passing it through a sieve to give me a nice smooth masala sauce. Now on to the arancini. It's very simple. We've got some white chopped onion and some chopped garlic, and then we're going to add ingredients that we would usually find in pilau rice. So we're going to add 4 bay leaf, followed by some cassia bark. You could use cinnamon as a substitute, followed by some cardamom pods, some cloves, some cumin seeds. I did a lot of this by eye, but I did give measurements on the shopping list at the start of the video. After the cumin seeds, we are going to add some turmeric, followed by a pinch of salt. As with anything else, it's all about the preparation. You have everything ready, and then the Indian style arancini become a lot easier to make. Just on a side note from this, I also had pre-prepared some chicken tikka, which I'd used following the Dan Toombs recipe, otherwise known as the curry guy. And alongside the herbs and spices, we also had our arboro rice and our litre of chicken stock. And the rest is very simple. Just like with risotto, we're going to melt some butter in a pan, and then I'm going to cook off some white onion and our garlic. When that's cooked through, we're going to add all our spices for our pilau rice, so our bay leaf, our cumin seeds, our cardamom pods, etc. We'll give that a good stir and make sure that everything has soaked up all the spices before adding our risotto rice to the pan. On this occasion I chose not to use a white wine as a base stock, as you would usually do with risotto. I thought with the herbs and spices and the chicken stock, that would be more than enough flavour wise. So once the risotto rice has soaked up some of the spices, we're going to do as we did with our arancini on Tuesday. We're going to add a ladle of chicken stock, and we're going to continuously stir that through until the rice has soaked up all the stock. I'm going to continue that process of adding a ladle, stirring, letting the rice soak up for about 10 to 15 minutes, otherwise known as when the rice becomes al dente, or firm to the bite. As with the arancini recipe, we'll then remove that rice, we'll leave it to steam for 10 minutes or so before putting it in a dish and refrigerating it for 24 hours, so we can then move on to make our arancini. After a while, your risotto should look something similar to this. It has gained in volume. It's not liquidy, it's quite firm, but there is some liquid remaining, which we're going to steam off for a good 10 minutes. After 24 hours, you should have something that looks similar to this. Before we actually make our Indian style arancini, we're going to actually remove all the little bits and pieces and the herbs and spices that remain in the rice. But here we have our spiced panko breadcrumb, our seasoned flour, an egg wash mix, and some chicken tikka. As we did with our arancini, we're going to take small handfuls of the Pilau style risotto, and we're going to surround a piece of chicken tikka with this rice and moulding it together to form a small ball. Once we've done this with all our rice, any remaining chicken tikka we could have maybe for lunch for next day, or throw into a tikka masala. But we're going to refrigerate our little arancini balls for about 30 minutes to allow them to firm up before we start worrying about coating it in breadcrumbs. And here are the little chicken tikka arancinis. And now onto the final stage, in which we are going to again follow the same process of coating an arancini ball in the flour, followed by the egg wash, followed by the spicy panko breadcrumb. Now the spicy panko breadcrumb, what I actually did is I actually ran that through a blender to make it more of a fine crumb. I feel it works out quite well, and I think next time I will actually do that again rather than using whole panko crumbs. Again, personal choice, I only single coated mine. If you want to double coat, it is just literally a case of putting back into the egg wash mixture and then returning to the panko crumb for one more coating. And here we have our final arancini, all ready to be deep fried. And the way we're going to do this is like we did with our arancini on Tuesday. We're going to preheat a deep fat fryer to around 150 degrees Celsius, and we're going to fry them for literally between 8 and 10 minutes. Once done, they should look like this, nice and golden and crisp. And we're going to serve these with a nice masala dipping sauce and garnish with coriander. Thank you very much for watching. That was a great fun recipe I enjoyed doing. I hope you give it a try and enjoy it too. If you like what you see, please feel free to comment, like or subscribe, or hit that notification bell, or feel free to view the 2 videos linked on screen. Thank you very much for watching. Have a nice day. Bye bye.